the Trojan Wars. So during the time 1600 before Christ and 1100 before Christ, in Greek there were the Mycenaeans, and they had smaller kingdoms, and all these smaller kingdoms had a hilltop called Acropolis, and in these societies there was then often the political world discussed at the fireside. And it was also at the time usual that the kings of the Mycenaeans were buried in beehive-shaped tombs with a corridor entrance, and they were called pholos. Now, there lived Homer. He was a poet, an author, and he wrote a story about the Trojan Wars. It was thought that that was maybe just an invention by Homer, just a story written, but over time it became more and more likely that actually the city Troy existed, and that at least some truth is in the stories told by Homer in his book about the Trojan Wars. Now, there is not told in this book that there was Helen, and she was married to Menelaus, the brother of the Mycenaean king Agamemnon. But she went then with the Trojan prince Paris to Troy. And now the Mycenaeans, with Menelaus and Agamemnon, they started to besiege Troy with Paris, Helen, there to get her back. There were important figures. There's, for example, Odysseus fighting on the Mycenaean side. He went then later back and lived through his Odysseus. And there were also then Achilles fighting on the Mycenaean side, on the besieging side. He had only the problem with his Achilles tendon, but he's a legendary warrior. And then inside of Troy there was also Hector fighting, the brother of Paris, fighting from inside Troy. Now, with how Trojan War ended then with the Trojan horse, told in Homer's story. The Mycenaeans who besieged Troy left when on the beach a wooden horse, a big giant wooden horse, according to the story. And now the people of Troy thought it was a gift of the gods, and that they had left the Mycenaeans, and the gods had left them that gift there, that wooden horse, a giant wooden horse, pulled it into the city, celebrated, and thought now the war was over, and that wooden horse was a gift. But the story tells that actually there were warriors of the Mycenaeans hidden inside of a big wooden horse, and in the night they climbed out and opened the gate, and the Mycenaeans returned. It was just a trap, and they won the Trojan Wars. And during the time, it was a bronze time, so they had swords out of bronze, and also leg guards out of bronze, and breastplates out of bronze, and so on. And also at the helmets they had crescent, probably to make them look more impressive warriors. And that is according to Miles Kell's World History book, page 110 and 111.